chips, solder them together with the wires and make something new. We don't have that world where you can build your own stuff now. If your TV went bad and you were trained in it, you could actually unscrew the back of the television set yourself, program and find the bad parts. Even people who knew nothing about technology, and there was a lot of housewives, they would take out the tubes, vacuum tubes, out of their television set, run down to the Safeway grocery store, or whatever it was called back then, Lucky, and they would plug them into a machine and test them, find the bad one. This was a common part of life. You'd bring the good one back, plug it back into your television, and now it worked. So people did a lot of self-repair in those days. You could also put your vacuum cleaner in a closet and protect it, and it would never change. It would work for 40 years, do the same thing well. Nowadays, every 2 years, whatever you have doesn't seem to work because of some little change.
You throw it away.
And especially when it's out in the cloud, you don't have any control. They'll just change they'll remove a feature that you depended on.
Yeah. But before the Apple I, computers, what was the big breakthrough with Apple I? Before it was all just numbers, and you had to type in, but what was the breakthrough that you wanted? More user interface to be able to...
Computer technology was understood in terms of the elements inside a computer and the sort of programs the computer understood. They aren't like the programs you get taught in most schools. Machine language, it was called. Little ones and zeros, and exactly what they did. That was understood, and how computers have been built in the past. But they all had these horrible looks of tons of buttons and lights, and you'd walk up to it and say, unless I am educated in this stuff, I'm a computer expert, I can't touch this machine, I can't use it. And then we had a group of people that were really inspired by social philosophy, social psychology professors from Stanford and Berkeley, talking about how once we owned our own computers, it would be a great new world, and that inspired me so much. I had the talent to make some things I thought of. One of the important ones was, it has to be usable by you. Well, first of all, it has to be human. You don't want a big old front panel full of switches and lights. You want a typewriter and a little display on your TV set. That's like a typewriter. Humans could relate to that. So that was step number one. But second of all, you wanted people to be creative. Steve Jobs used the phrase, the bicycle of the mind, because the bicycle is what gave man the energy to distance ratio that was better than any other animal. It was the bicycle. If we had a computer, we could now create tools that would get us further than ever before. Tools in the music business are an example, Pro Tools and all. And the bicycle of the mind. So anyway, I don't know what topic we were on.
Well, I think this is one of the things that we were thinking about. The change in music industry has evolved to the point where someone with very little music training can have a hit record. Yeah. And that makes some serious musicians who have spent their whole life perfecting their craft uncomfortable. And you took computers, which had before then only been used by people who were really dedicated and knew the code, to a box that you opened up an Apple II and it worked, and anyone can use it. How did that change? Did those first generation feel marginalized? Should musicians today feel...
My biggest motivation of all the Apple II was video games. I love humor, I love fun in life, anything you do. And I had even designed video games for Atari. It was a hard project, design games in hardware. I wanted a machine that you could sit down in half a day, write a really good animated program, your own game, and then a 10-year-old could, written in a simple little language like BASIC. And I strived and achieved that goal. So making it simple to do was a big goal. Anybody could do it, because now you have a tool that you can exhibit your own creativity. Yeah.
You were talking about each one of these breakthroughs, it's at the point where you can never go back. We were talking about black and white to color. We were talking about how these screens, when we first started with a couple of speakers.
Yeah, the one-way doors in technology, things like even a mouse-based computer, once you go through that door, you know you aren't going to go back to. I'm going to memorize a whole bunch of commands, or I'm going to hit the forward arrow key 8 times and the down arrow 3 times to get to the letter I want. You're never going to go back. So the one-way doors are always the ones that somehow technology is propelling us in this direction. Are we in control of it? Is it coming from our minds? Or